I'm Austin.
I'm Alex,
You're listening to One Last Breath, an autopsy of awful albums.
where we discuss controversial, bizarre, divisive, and downright abysmal albums.
Today's album will be
Today's album.
Today's album.
Today's episode.
Today's episode, we'll be talking about the one big four thrash band we haven't talked about yet, Anthrax, and their 8th studio album, Volume 8, The Threat is Real. So Anthrax is the only member of the big four to not be from the Bay Area. Instead, they're from Queens.
Mm-hmm.
They were formed on July 18th of 1981. Guitarist Scott Ian and Dan Lilker,
I think so.
drummer Dave Weiss, founding members of the band, with their initial lineup being completed by vocalist John Connolly and bassist Paul Kahn. Many other lineup shifts occur in the beginning, per the usual for a lot of these thrash bands. The lineup that was settled for the release of Anthrax's first album, A Fistful of Steel, was Neil Turbin on vocals, Scott Ian and Dan Spitz on guitars, Dan Lilker switching from guitar to bass, and Charlie Benante on drums. There's a lot of... I'm not good at names.
Yeah, it's hard to pronounce.
Anthrax has befriended John Zazula. They befriended
I like
John
how it said
Zazula.
has, like it just...
Yep.
Like
they just did it.
Yeah, this is 1981, guys.
So he was a New Jersey record store owner and founder of the new record, Megaforce Records. Megaforce had recently released Metallica's debut, Kill 'Em All, to success, so Anthrax gave Zazula some of their demo tapes. He liked what he heard, and Anthrax was soon signed to Megaforce. The 7-inch single of Soldiers of Metal / Howling Furies was Anthrax's first release for Megaforce in 1983. Mentioned earlier, Fistful of Metal, released on January 6th of 84, was the group's first full-length effort. The album has received mostly mixed reviews, with some seeing it as more of a traditional heavy metal album rather than the thrash that Anthrax would be known for. However, the first instance of music press using the term thrash metal was by Kerrang journalist Malcolm Dome, referring to the track Metal Thrashing Mad. So they kind of invented the term thrash.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, I think their first album is good. The first time I heard it, I wasn't as big on it, but it's... I mean, I would consider it thrash. I mean, kind of in the way that... Not really Megadeth. I feel like Megadeth kind of already had the sound established by the time their album came out, because theirs was 85. They were later to the game than the other big four. But like Kill 'Em All and Show No Mercy by Metallica and Slayer, kind of how it's like, it's thrash, but it's more leaning into tradition, like heavily influenced by like Judas Priest and Motorhead and shit like that. Like I would say Neil Turbin is definitely like a Rob Halford wannabe. I mean, he was a good vocalist. I don't think as good as Joey Belladonna that later joined Anthrax, but like it's good. Like I listened to all their shit recently to kind of get the vibe, like because I had only heard their first 5 albums up until this point, and it had been a while since I've listened to this first one. But it's some good shit. I like it. It's just kind of like heavier speed metal type shit.
My history with Anthrax is hearing the Anthrax and Public Enemy song, Bring the Noise.
You've heard Indians. And
I've heard Indians and...
Caught in a Mosh.
Yes.
You probably heard Madhouse.
No.
I guarantee you if you heard it, you would know it.
Maybe. This is the most forgettable thrash band.
You think so?
Anthrax is the most forgettable of the big four.
I mean... Out of the big four, I agree. I don't know. I think they're... For me, I think Spreading the Disease and Among the Living, their second and third albums, are like 10 out of 10 albums in my book.
Okay.
Like, they're both really fucking good. I think you would like them if you listen to them. But then even the 2 after that still had Joey Belladonna on vocals, like, they're all right to me. And then, like I said, I just recently had listened to everything else, and... pretty much all of it is just mid, in my opinion. Like, it's just kind of there. So, I mean, I would agree overall they are the most forgettable, but, I mean, they still got some bona fide classics in there. Yeah, I think so.
Like Public Enemy and Anthrax Bring the Noise.
I mean, yeah, that is a certified hood classic.
It is a certified hood classic. It is the first 7 tracks on my new playlist, songs that get white boys incredibly turned when they're drinking lean.
Oh, fuck yeah. Need to take a gander at that playlist.
It's just that song 7 times.
But yeah, that's a good entry. But yeah, I mean, I think that, like, I understand Anthrax being in the big four, and I think that they're deserving because, I mean, the big four is just the 4 that sold the most records.
Yeah.
But like in terms of consistency, I definitely would argue like either Exodus or Overkill in my book replacing Anthrax.
What about Testament?
people. I mean, Testament's good. I like them. I just haven't. There's just something about them that I can't like get.
Okay.
And, like I like a decent amount of their songs, but there's only one of their albums that I've heard. The New Order, I think, is one that I would actually choose to like listen to a lot. But Exodus and Overkill, like their first like good string of albums, are like really really good.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think consistency wise, I would put one of them two in the place of Anthrax. But that's just me.
Tuning to next week's episode, where we discuss the big four of other metal genres, such as doom and glam. So shortly after the release of Fistful of Metal, Lilker was fired by Anthrax, which is good, because now I don't have to say his name again. It was because he took 30 takes to record the bass track to an Alice Cooper cover, the song I'm 18, which I've recorded music before. It is hard.
It's hard.
But an Alice Cooper bass track...
It apparently was only 5 notes the entire song. Like just this,
okay,
the same 5 notes over and over.
I can understand. Just like it's just the same 5. Like it's one phrase the entire song, just like bum 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 bum.
Yeah, but like
it doesn't, obviously it's not. I don't know what this fucking song sounds like.
Yeah, like repeat it through the whole song. Yeah,
just record it once and copy paste.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe you couldn't do that in the 80s.
Yeah, they probably had some way of like splicing tape or something.
Yeah, physically cutting the tape open, and moving it around.
Yeah, which I mean, if you can't record that, then
yeah, grow up, Lilker.
Lilker. Yeah, Lilker sounds like a fucking like a mumble rapper, like Lilker. Lilker. My name Lilker.
So Charlie Benante's nephew, Frank Bello.
Benante.
Whatever the fuck his name
Benante.
is. The B-Man's nephew, Frank Bello, was hired as his replacement. Lilker, along with former Anthrax singer John Connolly, went on to form fellow thrash band Nuclear Assault. Neil Turbin was forced out of the band later due to a couple reasons. One was because Ian and Benante wanted more songwriting control, with Ian writing the lyrics and Benante writing the music. The other reason was because music journalist Eddie Trunk, who was John Zazula's apprentice, told Zazula that Turbin was the weak point of the band, which in turn made Zazula pressure Anthrax to continue without Turbin. He was replaced briefly with Matt Fallon before ultimately being replaced by Joey Belladonna.
Jimmy Fallon. But yeah, I was like, damn, they really just fucking... I mean, it worked out for them because they got...
You are indeed the weakest link. Goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, they got immensely more popular with Joey Belladonna, but I was like, damn, I think he's a decent vocalist. I mean, if not like generic-ish, but it's not like it was a screeching like, oh my god, this is amazing, but the vocalist sucks complete ass. Like
Avenged Sevenfold, yeah.
Damn. That's what most people say.
It's true. He's not... In Shadows is not good at vocals.
I like it, though.
Let's see. The lineup of Belladonna, Scott Ian, Dan Spitz, Frank Bello, and Charlie Benante is considered the classic lineup of Anthrax. This lineup recorded the classic album Spreading the Disease on October 30th of 85. Spreading the Disease has received critical acclaim and is considered a pioneering thrash record. It features one of Anthrax's most well-known songs in Madhouse. In addition to Joey Belladonna, the addition of Joey Belladonna was seen as a massive improvement over Neil Turbin. The band's major breakthrough came 2 years later on March 16th of 87 with Among the Living. It was their first album to go gold. Good for them.
Good for them.
For the album, Anthrax recruited legendary producer and engineer Eddie Kramer, who has worked with artists such as Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, Kiss, and Jerry Seinfeld.
Kramer!
They sought out to achieve a dry and organic sound that would be comparable to the sounds of their live shows. The album was praised on all fronts, with critics pointing out the songwriting, mix of serious and humorous lyrics, and the contrast of Belladonna's soaring, high-pitched vocals with the fast and aggressive instrumentation. Although this was Anthrax's big break, they did get a lot of hate from metal elitists at the time for their style, as they opted to often wear shorts and graphic tees with commercial or punk band logos, as opposed to the denim and leather look of most other thrash bands. Also controversial was the band's love and endorsement of hip-hop. The single release of I Am the Law from Among the Living released a hip-hop B-side titled I'm the Man. It's largely a parody of the Beastie Boys, whom Anthrax were fans of. Anthrax also appeared on the title of Brooklyn rap group UTFO. These choices by the band, as well as Scott Ian wearing a Public Enemy shirt on stage and for promo shoots, caused Public Enemy to shout out Anthrax in their 88 single Bring the Noise. This all culminated in 91 when Public Enemy and Anthrax went together to write what is possibly the most important song in nu metal history, Bring the Noise, which is a very pivotal moment in bringing the two genres together. Anthrax's fourth album, State of Euphoria, was released on September 19th of 88 to lukewarm reception. The band themselves feel like the album was rushed and not up to par with spreading the disease or among the living. Next came Persistence of Time in August 21st of 90. Features a more mature side of Anthrax, largely abandoning their penchant for humor and lyrical matter based on novels and comic books, instead opting for lyrical themes of tolerance and peace, which is really fucking weird for thrash.
What, Tolerance and Peace?
Tolerance and Peace.
I mean, yeah.
Other thrash albums. Here is a 8-track album about the Holocaust. Anthrax. Love you, brother.
Love you, brother. I mean, yeah, I guess. I can't really think of any other thrash. I feel like it's usually either about war. I mean, it's like from an anti-war standpoint, but it's still like the horrors of war.
Like One and All of Raining Blood.
Yeah, and a decent amount of other.
Or it's about
Metallica
like mental illness, like everything Megadeth has ever released.
Yeah, but yeah, Megadeth touches on war a lot and government.
Yeah,
thrash is basically war scary, government bad, and I love beer and pizza.
Dale Gribble is really the embodiment of thrash.
Yeah, kind of. But yeah, I guess that is kind of. I mean, but with that too, I mean, what Anthrax vocal or lyrics were before Persistence of Time was also pretty out of the norm for thrash. I mean, they have like fucking 5 songs that are based on Stephen King books, and like they about comic books like Judge Dredd. I Am the Law is about Judge Dredd. A lot of like humorous, like we mentioned, lyrics and shit like that. So I mean, Anthrax overall, for the most part, at least like the early stuff, was pretty out of the norm for thrash music. Which,
they're a weird thrash band.
Yeah, which I respect them for. They got metal elitists mad, at least back in the day.
Hell yeah.
So
this album also featured a more progressive side of Anthrax, toning down the thrash for more explorative sounds. These changes to the band's formula were met with supporters and also detractors. In '92, after signing a deal with Elektra Records, Joey Belladonna was fired from the band for Daredevil. You know, because Elektra.
Oh, I was very confused. I was like, what?
Because Elektra's the other failed Marvel movie that came out alongside the failed Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck.
There was an Elektra movie?
Yeah, there was an Elektra movie. It had
How did I not know that? It came out around the same time as Daredevil?
Yeah, like a year or two later. It was supposed to be set. That was like the first attempt at the MCU was Elektra, Daredevil, and that Hulk movie, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching Daredevil and the Hulk movie like all the fucking time as kids.
We had one on VHS.
Yeah.
Well, I had Daredevil, you had Hulk.
Yeah, but I did not. Who played Elektra?
God, who played Elektra? I literally just closed out my web browser because I forgot. Oh my god, let me pause for processing.
But yeah, that's crazy. I never thought of that, or never knew about that.
So yeah, it was released in 2005, and it was Jennifer Garner.
Oh, wait, no, I have heard of that.
I don't know who any of the people in this movie are.
You don't know Jennifer Garner? She was in, you've seen Juno?
Yeah.
She was the mom in Juno.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's been in a lot of shit. She's a really good actress. I like her.
Okay, yeah, she played Elektra in 05. I believe the Daredevil movie was like 04.
Yeah,
and the Hulk movie was like
03.
03, yeah.
Damn, I want to watch those now, because fucking Hulk was awesome as a kid, and so was the Daredevil movie, I thought.
This is still off topic, but that Hulk movie is actually considered part of the MCU.
I thought the one from 09 is.
They both are.
Oh, really?
The one from 09 is a direct sequel to the one from 03.
Huh, I've never seen the 09 one. That's like one of the few.
So in the 03 one, remember he like flees to South America?
Yeah.
The 09 one starts with him in South America. It's a different actor, obviously, but it's like it directly continues the plot from the 03 Hulk movie.
Yeah, the 09 one's Ed Norton.
Yeah, and the 03
I don't know
one
who 03 is.
I don't remember.
But yeah, then they just randomly were like, no, Ed Norton, we're going to get Mark Ruffalo. And then that's how it's been in the MCU.
Yeah, the MCU's weird.
Yeah.
But this is not an MCU podcast. So Belladonna was fired over creative differences. Several vocalists auditioned for his replacement before the band settled on Armored Saint vocalist John Bush.
No relation to George.
A little bit of a relation.
A little bit.
The result in the studio of the new vocalist was May 25th of 93's album Sound of White Noise. John Bush brought an alternative rock vibe to the band for this release, and his lower-pitched style of singing brought out a new side of Anthrax. The album was met with positive reviews. It's still the band's highest charting release to date, peaking at number 7 on the Billboard.
Which I thought was pretty crazy, but I guess it makes sense since that was their first release on like a major record label.
On a major record label. It was also their first release that was like a major genre.
Yeah.
Because thrash is not a radio genre, really. Like, you have Metallica.
Yeah.
And, like, Megadeth got some radio play.
Yeah, like, here and there, yeah. But I guess it makes sense. I just think it's funny that it's, like, the pretty much unanimously agreed on best vocalist in Anthrax leaves, and then they immediately have their highest success of an album.
Yeah,
I just think it's weird.
A little fucking wild. But Dan Spitz then left the band in '95 to pursue a career in Swiss watchmaking.
Yeah. He apparently has been very successful doing so.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
That reminds me of this is also off topic, but the band Jefferson Airplane.
Okay.
So it was either the first time they broke up or after they broke up Jefferson Starship.
Mm.
One of their breakups was because obviously there was a lot of like Fleetwood Mac-esque fucking in the band.
Yeah, I can imagine. Wasn't there like fucking? I mean, it was just like a revolving door of members.
Yeah, but they had like they're like Grace Slick and a couple others were like the big like steady members.
Yeah.
But Grace Slick and one other member of Jefferson Airplane Starship, whichever band it was, quit the band to pursue a career in Scandinavian speed skating.
Fuck yeah, bro.
I don't think they did very good because they eventually went on to form another band with the same members.
Okay. Yeah, wasn't there like a weird... Wasn't there Jefferson Starship and then just Starship?
And then just Starship, yeah.
Which one did We Built the City?
I want to say that was Jefferson Starship.
Okay.
And Jefferson Airplane did White Rabbit.
Yeah, because, I mean, Jefferson Airplane turned into Starship, didn't they?
Yeah, Jefferson Airplane turned into Jefferson Starship after a breakup, and then Jefferson Starship turned into Starship after a breakup.
Yeah, Jefferson Airplane did, like, White Rabbit, and they have one other song that I know.
I don't know. I was friends with someone in high school who was obsessed with Jefferson Airplane. That's why I know this.
Interesting.
But he's a good watchmaker.
Yeah, apparently he has had a very successful career in Swiss watchmaking.
Good for Mr. Spitz. After his departure, Anthrax's seventh studio album, Stomp 442, was released on October 24th of '95. Guitarist Paul Crook, who's known for his work with Meatloaf, took over lead duties, although not being credited as an official member of the band. Also featured guests on the album were Dimebag Darrell, Mike Tempesta, and Zach Throne.
Yeah, I don't know who either of the second two are.
I've never heard of Dimebag Darrell.
Oh yeah, who the fuck is that?
The album was mostly met with negative reviews, with most finding it generic and uninspired. And now we get to today's album. Volume 8, The Threat is Real, released on July 21st of '98. Anthrax made the move to label Tommy Boy for this release, after they believed Elektra had underpromoted Stomp 442. This is sort of a smaller-scale Slayer-esque move, as Tommy Boy is mainly an EDM and hip-hop label, launching the careers of artists such as Queen Latifah, Coolio, and De La Soul. Just like Stomp 442, Dimebag Darrell does some guitar solos, and Paul Crook appears again. However, just for guitar solos this time, rather than lead guitar. Phil Anselmo also does some backing vocals on the song Killing Box. I didn't catch that.
I did not either. I typed this all up after I had already listened to it, and I forgot to go back.
Yeah, I don't...
It's probably just some little background screams or something.
There was one song that had, like, screaming in it, which I felt was kind of weird for Anthrax. That may have been Phil Anselmo.
Yeah, possibly.
The Volume 8 is frequently placed at the bottom of music outlet and fans' ranking of Anthrax's discography, and currently holds the lowest score for an Anthrax album on Rate Your Music at 2.53 out of 5, which, in the scale of stuff we talk about and listen to,
yeah, it's not
that bad.
Not too bad, but if anyone remembers, we said we were going to listen to the 2 lowest ranked albums from all the big 4, and then do a big ranking of them, like a little mini episode ranking them.
Yeah, just because it seems like a fun thing to do.
Yeah, just because there's been some very, very low point. I mean, namely Megadeth and Metallica.
Namely Metallica.
Yeah, they're the big outliers.
Because we've already listened to Megadeth's worth album, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was... I believe I remember us giving it a pretty positive score.
Yeah, we both liked it, but I mean, in the grand, I mean, it had shit reviews, so yeah. But and then I mean, Anthrax probably, if I had to guess, probably has the best lowest 2 scored albums of the 4.
It's because no one listens to Anthrax.
Yeah, that could have something to do with it.
It's because they are the least known member of the Big 4.
Yeah, I guess that could have something to do with it. But
I bet you anything that my wife has never heard an Anthrax song.
I mean, fair enough.
I bet you your wife had not heard an Anthrax song until you were like, here, listen to this Anthrax song.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, like... But everyone's heard Metallica, everyone's heard Slayer, everyone's heard Megadeth.
Yeah, very true.
Anthrax is a weird... It's a weird choice. So Stephen Thompson of the AV Club gave the album an unfavorable review, stating, "It's just another overblown, humorless hour of chunky riffs, machine gun drumming, and generic vocals. Sure, it's aggressive to the point of being exhausting, but that's just as much a result of the jarring monotony as the band's flailing energy." On the contrary, Martin Popoff gave the album a 7 out of 10 in his book, Collector's Guide to Heavy Metal, remarking how the band included a bit of everything on this release, including multiple speeds, Hebert scattered here and there, big grungy guitars, meat and potatoes riffing and roaring vocals from Bush, while experimenting with some of the different textures and dynamics. This result is not just an accessible thrash metal record, it is typical with Anthrax. After Volume 8, Anthrax released one more album fronted by John Bush, We've Come For You All, on May 6th of 2003. They moved to label Nuclear Blast. Now that's a fucking label name.
Yeah. Yeah, Nuclear Blast is one of those classic labels, which is funny because you know how earlier the two of the members went on to form Nuclear Assault, the band? I used to get those two confused, like, when I was, like, getting into metal.
That makes sense, yeah.
Like, I thought Nuclear Assault was a label, and then I was like, wait, that's a band? And I was like, oh, Nuclear Blast.
They also recruited guitarist Rob Caggiano to become a five-piece again. I've heard the name Rob Caggiano.
Yeah,
I feel like he was in something else.
He's been in a lot of stuff, so
Right.
yeah, I had heard the name before as well. Like, I think he's kind of one of those guys that just has jumped around to a bunch of different metal bands,
Yeah.
kind of just randomly filling in.
He's kind of a fixer.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. The album was well received by critics, with some claiming it as a return to form for Anthrax. In 2005, the classic lineup returned for a tour and played Among the Living in its entirety. The lineup was supposed to record a new album after the tour, but Belladonna ended up leaving again in 2007. John Bush was asked to rejoin, but said he didn't feel right doing so after Belladonna leaving again.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Dan Nelson, formerly of Devil's Eyes, was recruited for vocals, and Dan Spitz also left again, causing Rob Caggiano to return. In 2009, Dan Nelson departed due to either illness or being fired. It's disputed.
Yeah, it's disputed.
John Bush rejoined for some shows. However, he decided he did not want to commit to the band full time, and Joey Belladonna came back.
The bitch came back the very next day.
I would be confused as a band member at this point.
Yeah.
I would be confused as a fan. As someone who's not listened to Anthrax, I have forgotten all of these names already.
Yeah, can you just imagine, like, in that span from, like, 2005 to 2009, it's like, if you go, it's like they come to your city, like, each year, it's like it's just a different fucking vocalist every single time.
It's not only a different vocalist, it flip-flops between the same two vocalists.
Yeah, and then the two guitarists flip-flop and all that shit.
It's like a Slipknot, except they're not wearing masks, so you actually notice.
Slipknot's not really changed members that much.
Well, they had Weird Al play.
Weird what?
Weird Al played in Slipknot once.
Weird Al played in Slipknot?
Yeah. There's a famous story that Weird Al was in one Slipknot concert. I don't know what he did.
Huh.
And also, Dave Grohl played in a tour for Slipknot.
Yeah, I think I heard that one before. Which, I mean, yeah, like you're saying, if they wear masks, so it's not like anyone fucking, they could just randomly have...
Like, I think the drummer was sick, or maybe his wife was having a kid or something.
Joey Jordison?
There's like, hey, Dave Grohl, can you step in? And of course, Dave Grohl is a very talented musician.
It's like a fucking savant. So, huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have heard that, but I did not know Weird Al. He probably was one of the trash can people.
Yeah, I think he just played one show.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
It's so funny.
Speaking of that, side note, we need to watch the fucking Weird Al movie together. The biopic.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
You've seen it?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe plays it.
Yeah, have you not seen it?
No, because I remember it came out like last year, and I remember telling you like, "Oh shit, we need to watch this," and then we never did.
And then we just never. I think it was just on one of my streaming services one day, and I had nothing else to watch.
Damn, yeah, I completely forgot about it somehow.
It's pretty good.
Huh?
It's pretty good. So Joey Belladonna came back into the picture, and this resulted in the album Worship Music on September 12th of 2011. We're one day away from a 10-year anniversary. It received positive reviews, with most feeling it recaptured the old magic Anthrax had with Belladonna. In 2013, Rob Caggiano left Anthrax to join Volbeat. That's where I know him from. I've seen Volbeat live.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where I was really into Volbeat for like 6 months.
Yeah, they were weird. They randomly had like a big surge in popularity around like around that time, like 2013-ish.
2013, yeah.
Like I feel like people thought they were going to be the next new metal band, and then they just kind of.
I saw them a year later in 2014. So
Okay.
I would have seen them with Caggiano.
Yeah. I think he was in them until like last year or this year. Like he just recently left Volbeat.
Yeah, Volbeat's really good, but yeah, they just randomly came out of nowhere.
Yeah, like I feel like people thought they were going to be the next, kind of like how Ghost is now. Like how Ghost is like the metal band right now.
But the thing is, Volbeat was good.
I still have never listened to Ghost.
I don't like Ghost.
I just hear people either like are fucking obsessed with them, or people think that they're the worst thing ever. I don't
like Ghost. I also don't like that other band that's like, Did You Mistake Me for a Sign from God?
I have no idea.
God, they're like a TikTok metal band. I don't know. I think the kids are wrong.
Maybe Spirit Box?
No, not Spirit Box.
Because I was about to say they're big now, but I don't know if that was them.
I don't know anything about Spirit Box. So Ron Caggiano left doing Volbeat, and Jonathan Danois of Shadows Fall was hired as his replacement. There was a while when I was younger where I used to always get Shadows Fall and Senses Fail confused.
I can see that.
Which is weird because I'm a Senses Fail fan. I've never listened to Shadow Fall.
They had that one song on Guitar Hero that you would. I think it was in World 5. It was in Guitar Hero 5. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, they're kind of like a melodic death metal band, kind of in the same vein of Children of Bodom type stuff.
Okay.
They're a good band.
Similarly received as worship music is the band's most recent album, For All Kings, released on February 26th of 2016. That was almost a birthday present to me. The 12th album has been rumored on and off since 2017, with most recent news from April 23, with Charlie Benante hopeful for a 2024 release.
And that's where we are now. That's a very long time between albums. 2016, I was still in fucking high school. In 2016, I was a senior in high school.
Yeah, now 2023, and we're real adults for whatever reason.
Yeah, well, who the fuck knows why. But yeah, so any opening thoughts for Volume 8?
I like grunge.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm a fan of grunge.
Do you think this is very grunge leaning?
I think this is a grunge album.
Yeah, I think it's mainly an alt metal album with moments that lean very grunge and very nu metal.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I feel like it's an alt metal album, kind of maybe around the vibe of like, I can't think of anything like from the 90s that I would compare this to, but maybe along the lines of like 3 Days Grace.
Yeah, it's kind of 3 Days Grace, or there's also some Shinedown moments in it.
There's some Stained moments too. There's some parts where I was like, this sounds like fucking Stained.
So yeah, this is a pretty grungy alt metal-y album.
Nu metal-ish.
Yeah,
it kind of stays in those lanes.
It's very fucking 90s.
Yeah, it's kind of Diabolus in Musica by Slayer, but the light version. The decaf version.
The Diabolus in Musica we have at home.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not as aggressive as that. It's kind of that
it doesn't
toned down.
push as many envelopes.
And plus, also, it sounds nothing like Anthrax's earlier shit, which is opposite as Diabolus in Musica, because it pretty much just
sounds like Slayer trying to do something different.
Yeah, like not as good Slayer, but still like good Slayer.
Yeah. So we start with Crush. Unfortunately, not the song from Sonic Adventure.
Or not the Crush, Crush, Crush by Paramore.
Yeah, this is just a song by Anthrax. Like, it's a pretty solid album opener, I'd say.
Yeah, it's alright. It's really fast-paced and, like, is mostly just a pummeling drum line. Like, yeah. I think just really all played on the toms. Like, it's just kind of like a do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Which is, like, something Anthrax is known for, because, like, Indians is just the famous part of Indians is the tom fill.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not as memorable as that, and neither is the guitar riff. It's just kind of a basic alt-metal sounding guitar riff. Then after that, that kind of takes up the entire verse sections of the song. Mm-hmm. Like, every verse just follows that blueprint, and then right after all that, we get a brief chorus that kind of goes into, like, what I would say is a Pantera-esque drum beat. Yeah. Like a pretty slow, I mean, it's just like a basic, like, doom, doom, doom type of drum beat, but it kind of has that Pantera vibe where it's like a slow groove.
Yeah, it's a very Vinnie Paul.
Yeah. very Vinnie Paul moment, and then it goes into an actual chorus. But I would say that pre-chorus part is probably the most memorable part of the song and the best part of the song.
There is a pretty cool drum solo that I notated.
Okay.
I noticed. But other than that, yeah, it's just it's a song legally.
Yeah. Legally it can be considered a song, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much just the formula for the entire song. Like,
and honestly, for the entire album.
Yeah.
There's a few highlight parts.
Yeah.
But mostly the album is just this in different flavors.
Yeah, and also I forgot to mention in my opening thoughts, John Bush, for most of this album, if you told me that was M Shadow singing, I would fucking believe you. Which is a callback to what we were saying about him. Like, does he not sound like?
Yeah.
I mean, M Shadow sounds like him, but
yeah,
it was so weird. Like I was not expecting it. It's like there's like subtle differences in their vocal style, but especially whenever he does like that kind of higher like vocal fry yelling thing, like holding out a note that M Shadow does, like it sounds exactly like
it's
it.
Very M Shadows.
And even like I mean any way that his voice is it just sounds like M Shadows is a copy of John Bush. Like I don't know if that's where he got his inspiration for singing. I don't know. It's just very weird. I was not expecting it.
Yeah. After that, we get to Catharsis, which just sounds like a Foo Fighter song, but about 5 minutes long.
This one is actually probably. I mean, this definitely is one of the highlights for me. Like,
it's a good song. It's just so long.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty long. But yeah, it's like you said. It's kind of a hard rock song, pretty much, with sort of a punky flair to it a little bit. But it's definitely fit for the radio. Like, it's just like at the most alt metal song, but I would say even more tuned to hard rock, alternative rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the vocal lines in the song. Like, there's a lot of really catchy parts in the verses, a very catchy chorus. We also get our first solo of the album, and it's a decent one. It's pretty brief, as are most of the solos on this album. Like, there's not really any crazy shreddy solos. It's mostly like lead.
There's
solos.
one crazy shreddy solo, but that was probably Dimebag.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, pretty much all the solos on this album are just kind of just there.
They all make you think, oh, I didn't know Anthrax had that. But then you learn that Anthrax didn't have that. They hired other guitarists to come do that for them.
Yeah, which is weird because, I mean, Anthrax, out of the big four, I would say have the least amount of, like, crazy solos. Like, Megadeth is definitely the one.
Yeah, Megadeth has the craziest solos.
Yeah, they have the, like, most technical
it's
solos.
Megadeth, then Metallica, then Slayer, then Anthrax.
Yeah, because Metallica also kind of has those, I mean, Kirk Hammett likes to do the wah-wah thing a lot. And then Slayer's solos are just kind of sounding like you're descending to hell. Like, they're just fucking... Jeff Hanneman and Kerry King are just kind of playing random shit at the same time, overlapping each other, just chaotic. And then Anthrax's are more in tune with, like, punk solos,
yeah, they're like
I would
punk
say.
solos. And there's a couple of those in this album where it's just like, we're playing octaves.
Yeah, but it's even less than their earlier shit. Like, it's just on this album is even less of solos than their early shit. So most of it's not that noteworthy.
Then we get to Inside Out, which I wrote down sounds like a Tool song, but not as douchey.
Yeah, I could see Tool as a comparison for this one. I was trying to think of something. It's kind of, some of it sounds like Stained to me. Like there's a, like I was saying, there's a, I think it's like the pre-chorus has like that really post-grunge feel to it. And then the chorus sounds like actual grunge. Like it kind of sounds like Alice in Chains ripoff. But then there's also like nu metal parts that are thrown in there where he's like screaming, and it kind of sounds like Diabolus and Musica, like the tone Tom Araya was going for on that album. And it also starts off with an acoustic intro, so it kind of hits all the fronts. Like there's kind of a lot going on in this song.
It really just tries to do everything, and I think it does it pretty okay.
Yeah,
the song gets me moving.
Yeah, I like this one. This is also one of the highlights. And this one actually has a solo that I liked. It starts off kind of lame. Like you're thinking, okay, like they're just gonna do another like 30-second mini just lead solo, but it actually kind of picks up as it goes. But yeah, I mean overall it's a good song. I think kind of touches on a lot of the metal trends of the '90s.
Yeah, it feels like the '90s wrapped into one song.
Yeah,
and also like predates and kind of shows, hey, here's what the 2000s are going to sound like.
Yeah.
Then we get to P and V, which is really boring.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything special.
Yeah, that's my exact notes. It just metals in the same tempo and vibe for the entire song. It's just kind of like a formulaic dad rock song.
Yeah.
It also has some cowbell in it.
It does have some cowbell.
So, I mean, when you have cowbell, what else can you really expect besides formulaic dad rock?
Yeah. And
Except for Fear the Reaper, that's like the only song that can pull off cowbell.
True. It needs more cowbell, though.
Yeah.
Then we get to 604, which is what, like a 40-second track?
Yeah, it's just like a little interlude solo. It is a really shreddy solo. Like, it kind of sounds like old Anthrax.
Yeah, the rest of it's really repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it doesn't overstay its welcome, so I think it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a little interlude.
Then we get... Oh, God, I forgot about this song. Toast to the Extras.
Yeah.
Which is a fucking cowpunk song.
Yeah. Yeah, Anthrax doing country.
It's really well done for what it is.
Yeah, I think music-wise, it's well done, but John Bush's vocals just do not fit at all. Like in the chorus, the vocals are a little better, but the verses just sound very awkward and forced. Like he's doing this weird, like he's trying to be country, I guess, in the verses. But in the chorus, it actually sounds like his voice, so it sounds a little better.
But also, I mean, there's only one guy that can do cowpunk vocals. It's the guy from Social Distortion.
Yeah, Mike Ness, I think is his name.
It's just him.
Yeah, just him. He is him.
Hello, him.
Mike Ness is him. But yeah, I mean, and this is really the only song that gets the image of M Shadows out of my mind because we already know M Shadows can pull off country. See, Dear God from
M
A7X's.
Shadows can pull off country.
Yeah. John Bush cannot.
It was really cool seeing them step out of their comfort zone, but then they do something really fucking weird where they end the song and then there's a second song on the track.
Did they do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a second song on the track, and it's like an experimental space instrumental with theremin and shit.
Okay, yeah, I forgot to note that. Yeah, you're right.
It's really weird. I was like, okay, cool, the track's over. What's next? I'm like, why is there 3 fucking minutes left?
Yeah, it's just like in kind of ambient, like what were you saying?
Like space rock.
Space rock, yeah.
It's really fucking weird. Like I'd expect that at the end of an album.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But this is what, track 5?
Yeah. Yeah, very weird choice.
Anthrax, what the fuck? I mean, that wouldn't come across weird on, like, a tape or a vinyl. You'd be like, okay, whatever. There's just another song here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess this was made for CD, but, like...
Yeah,
even then, how often would you notice, the song hasn't changed over yet?
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't just make that its own song, like, to be an interlude, or... I mean, they honestly probably could have turned that into its own song, like, actually... Because, I mean, it doesn't have lyrics or anything, if I recall.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's just instrumental with like theremins and shit.
Yeah, and it's also a very weird choice to put it after the country song on your album. Like, I don't know. Very weird choice.
It's very goofy. If I could ask someone in Anthrax one question, it'd be, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. What the fuck is this, dog? But yeah, I mean, that little diversion does not lead into the next track, Born Again Idiot, at all. Like,
no, not at all.
We just pick up with another song that is just mediocre alt rock, hard rock, butt rock, like
a little more what you'd expect from Anthrax, I think, than some of the other songs on the album.
Yeah, it has some pretty cool double bass parts about halfway through, and that's about really the only thing I know. Even the solo on the song is just kind of whammy bar masturbation.
I like the solo a lot on the song.
It's alright.
I like whammy bars a lot.
Yeah, this one, it kind of feels a little overdone on this song. Like, it feels like it's just whammy bar. It's just like...
I'm a big fan of whammy bars.
Sounds like me on Guitar Hero when I'm trying to fill up my star power. I'm just, like, slapping the fuck out of the whammy bar.
Yeah, it has, like, some dive bombs, and, like, as someone whose guitar idols for most of my life were Sinister Gates and Dimebag Darrell, I really fucking like dive bombs.
Yeah, dive bombs are cool. Yeah,
dive bombs do it for. Your solo could be shit. You hit a dive bomb, I'm like, ooh.
You're like, God damn.
God damn. Who let this get cooked?
Let him cook. And then we go to Killing Box, which is the one that has Phil Anselmo, but I didn't catch it.
Don't remember it.
Yeah, pretty much everything that I said about Born Again Idiot applies here, but minus the cool double bass part, so it's even worse.
I like the song. I thought it was really funky.
I mean, yeah, it does. It's kind of a groove metal song, which, I mean, makes sense.
And it's got some more of those space noises. They use some theremin in this bitch.
Oh, it does have some space noises?
Yeah, it has some space noises.
Okay, I
noticed some space noises.
Okay.
I really like the song, and I think the solo is really weird, but really fits into the composition as a whole.
Okay.
And really ties it together.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you got more out of it than I did, because I was just like, this is...
I like killing bucks.
This is pretty boring.
Maybe someone played the guitar solo.
Yeah, maybe. And then we go to Harm's Way, which is pretty much a post-grunge song with, like, southern rock leanings.
Yeah, it's the only song marked as explicit on the album.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's also the first song you can do the Running Man to.
What is explicit about it? I don't remember. He says the F word.
I was too busy making the Harm's Way Running Man joke to listen to the lyrics that closely.
Oh, the
Harm's Way Running Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is the first song you can do the Running Man to. Yeah, it's just another grunge song with some thrash influence. It's groovy. It's a little catchy.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of around this middle point of the album. Like, every song starts off a little promising to me, because I'm like, oh, this riff's pretty good. Like, this could go somewhere, but it just kind of drops the ball around the middle. Like, it just does the same thing over and over.
Yeah, they start off with a cool riff, and then they're like, okay, now back to what works.
Yeah, it's just like there's very, very few explorative moments or trying to do something. I mean, there is, but there isn't. I mean, it's like they're doing shit like country song and the space rock type thing. Like, there is weird shit on the album, but it's like, for the most part, the songs that they just start out and end feeling like they've done the same thing three times.
They've done nothing, really. They start to explore and then give up halfway through.
Yeah, exactly. But
it's like when you go to your kitchen to get a snack and you realize you're out of chips, so you just fucking give up.
Yeah, you just open the fridge and just look at it for 2 minutes and then realize you have nothing, and then 5 minutes later you do it again.
Yeah, it's
just
like,
hoping something appears in there.
This is the Sims of thrash metal.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Okay, the Sims of thrash metal. It's like, well, why am I here again? Why did I walk in the bathroom for the third time in a row?
I just pissed. What's going on here?
But at least we do get some nice ASMR of somebody. Oh my god, can't talk. Nice ASMR of someone eating an apple and giggling for whatever reason at the end. So
yeah, I
guess that's a nice touch. You just hear like, like okay,
whatever, Scott.
Like, I was also assuming it was probably Scott Ian doing that. He just seems like a goofy fellow. I mean, if you're the fucking rhythm guitarist of a band and you're the member that like 90% of the public can name out of anybody, then you got to be a pretty...
I have always assumed he was the vocalist.
You got to be a pretty goofy guy.
He was the only guy from Anthrax I've ever fucking heard of.
Exactly. It's like Fall Out Boy. Like, Pete Wentz is the fucking bassist, and I mean, I can name every member of Fall Out Boy,
we got Pete Wentz, Patrick Stump,
Andy Taylor,
the drummer.
I know his name, but I can't think of it right now. But either way, like, I feel like you have to have a weird out there personality, or I guess the looks in Pete Wentz's sense, to be not a guitar. Like, I feel like every other band, it's like either the vocalist or the guitarist are the most well known.
I think the only band I can name every member of is Avenged Sevenfold.
Really?
I can't name their drummer now. I know who the fuck he is.
Yeah, it was Brooks Wackerman for a minute.
Yeah, I have no idea who it is now.
It might still be Brooks Wackerman.
Maybe.
You can't name every member of Green Day?
Oh, well, there's only three. No, I can't name the fourth guy.
He's not an official member.
He is now.
No, he was. Now he's not.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, then I can name every member of Green Day.
Blink-182?
I can name every member of Blink-182. Okay.
Yeah.
They don't count. There's only three of them. It's a lot easier.
Let's see. Every member of Chicago?
Every member of Chicago. You got...
guy that shot himself.
God, what was his name? I think his name was Alex.
I don't know. That's all I got. I just know he shot himself.
Rest in peace to that guy. We're going to cover the Chicago Christmas album for Christmas.
Oh, God.
I'm not making that promise. Alex probably doesn't want to listen to that album.
Oh, yeah. I don't know about that.
I'm going to get your parents on for that episode.
Yeah, that could be a good one for them.
It's actually just going to be your parents and my in-laws.
And yeah, we're just not going to be in it at all.
So we get to Hogtied, which opens up like a Rage Against the Machine song.
Yeah.
And then just fucking goes nowhere.
Yeah, this one does have some Bon Jovi-esque talk box in it, though. You remember? Yeah.
It has some really cool parts. They just aren't fleshed out enough for me to fucking care.
Yeah, like there's some parts that spice it up a little bit, but yeah, I mean, it's got the same deal going on as Born Again, Idiot, and Killing Box. I think this one's a little bit catchier and a little more memorable than those two, but it's still...
It doesn't have Phil Anselmo, though, so what's the point, really?
Yeah, true. But yeah, it's still just like, like, it's just kind of there.
I can name it from of Pantera, I think.
Can you?
I think there's only 3 of them.
No.
Oh, there's a 4th one?
Yeah, the bassist.
Oh, fuck, they have a bassist.
Think Jurassic Park and Rex Brown is his name.
I was like, Velociraptor?
Velociraptor Jones or something.
Velociraptor Jones. Yeah, I think Rex Brown and George Lucas. Oh yeah, Velociraptor Jones.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Velociraptor Jones.
Okay, Rex Brown. I can have every member of Dinosaur Jr. Dinosaur.
You got Stegosaurus. You got
Littlefoot.
Littlefoot.
Petrie. Sarah.
There we go. Okay.
Ducky.
Okay, yeah.
Spike. And Chomper.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot that they were a 7-piece. Damn. That would be a good, maybe sometime we can, do a YouTube channel of us playing trivia, music-related trivia. That could be fun.
That could be fun.
Because both of us are just kind of randomly savants when it comes to obscure trivia, mostly when you're talking music or horror movies.
But not good horror movies.
Yeah, not good horror
movies. I haven't seen most of the good horror movies.
I've seen a lot of the good ones, but there are some that I just haven't.
Let's see. We're not going to go over the list right now. We've gone over too many fucking lists because I'm tired of talking about this album.
Yeah, it's kind of a drudge to get through.
So we get the Big Fat.
Big Fat.
Which is unfortunately not about famous Hispanic hip-hop artist Joe.
If only it was.
I don't think he was making music yet, or at least not like in the public eye.
Yeah, probably not. But yeah, just more mid.
Let's see. The intro's cool. And it has a 6 solo. Other than that, it's just fucking grunge.
Yeah, the only memorable part is around the 4 minutes and 30-second mark. There's like a really... It might be like in the middle of the solo or something, or at the end of it, but there's just like a really long wailing sound that I genuinely could not tell if it was vocals or guitar.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, like I don't know what the fuck it was. Like I'm leaning more guitar because it doesn't seem like something John Bush would have the vocal range to pull off. Because it sounded like a fucking Rob Halford scream on like fucking crack.
It's probably guitar.
It was like so high pitched.
Maybe through a talk box?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, that could be.
Because it does have like the vocoder like vowel sound.
Yeah, it's just like a really weird sound. Like it sounds like it's either like guitar feedback or I don't know. It was just really weird. It just went on for like 20 seconds and it was kind of hurting my head. I was like, what the fuck is this?
So that song, a Big Fat, I don't fucking care. Then we get to Cup of Joe. Another short one.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Scott Ian's doing the vocals on this one.
Scott Ian's doing the vocals on this one.
Yeah, okay. I could immediately tell because I've heard him talk and the way he does his vocals sounds like him talking. Like he has like a thick New York accent.
It's literally just a song about coffee.
Yeah, he's just like, give me my cup of Joe, give me my cup of Joe, I need some fucking coffee. Just and it gets like progressively faster as it goes.
The one note I have sounds like if Psycho Stick made fun of Napalm Death.
That's a good comparison.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah, because it's like it kind of starts off more of a punky song, but it gets very, very fast, so it kind of turns into like a grindcore song. Yeah,
like it gets faster like as it goes.
Because he's just very fast. Like I really need a cup of Joe. I really need a cup of Joe. Like just over and over.
You can tell that they were like, man, the label really wants like 13 songs. Is that how many songs are on this album?
Something like that. Yeah.
It's like, man, the label really wants a 13th song.
Yeah.
And Scott Ian's just fucking. Just down 13 cappuccinos.
Like, God damn it, I need my coffee.
He just did a fat fucking line of coke. He's like, I fucking got you guys. Play something.
Play something, fellas. Give me my cup of Joe.
It's like talking. He was like looking at them like the band of the Titanic.
That's a really good comparison, though. Psycho Stick trying to make fun of Napalm Death. Yeah. Fucking. Oh yeah, I was gonna mention this. I feel like this is something you would randomly know the answer to. Why the fuck do people call it a cup of Joe? What did that come from?
I don't know. I'm gonna look that up after the podcast, and we'll find out.
Yeah,
and we're not gonna tell you guys. You have to Google your fucking selves.
Yeah.
Do your own work. Stop being lazy.
Do your own research.
We do so much research for you guys. We can't tell you why it's called a cup of Joe.
We can't. And then we go to an alpha male.
Oh my fucking god. This one sounds like if you hired a dad rock band to write a metal song.
I could see that.
Like if you were like, hey, Jimmy Buffett.
Oh god. Rest in peace, sweet prince.
Rest in peace, Jimmy Buffett. Can you give me something fucking heavy?
Give me something heavy, Jimmy. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I really like the riff in this one. It kind of harkens back to a classic Anthrax sound to me. The song overall doesn't really. It's really just that opening riff. But I mean, it's a decent song. Like it's all right. I would say it's probably my favorite song since Inside Out, which was the third track on the album.
Yeah, we had a real big line of shit.
Yeah, but even then, I don't like it as much as Inside Out or Catharsis. Like it's just kind of a minor step up from the past like 6 songs.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but in the chorus, he sounds almost exactly like Brent from Shinedown.
Yeah.
Almost exactly.
Yeah, okay, I did get that. I remember there was one part that I thought that, where I was like, this sounds like Brent Smith, but okay, it was alpha male.
It also has a really, like, pop-punk little solo.
I don't remember that.
It's just, like, octaves. It kind of sounds like the solo from, got that one Good Charlotte song.
Oh,
Don't Want to Be Just Like You.
This is the anthem.
Yeah, the anthem.
Huh, okay. Interesting.
But it's another, like, it's an okay song.
Yeah, it's pretty decent.
Then we get to Stealing from a Thief.
Mm-hmm. I really like the riff for this one, too, just like I did for Alpha Male. Kind of goes for, like, a stoner doom metal feel, which is different. It's kind of a slower paced start. Then it kind of goes into, like, nu metal, hard rock for the remainder of the song.
I had a different vibe from it.
Really?
Actually. So the intro riff is good, but it also sounds almost exactly like Seven Bitter Blossoms by CKY.
Beings?
Yeah, Seven Bitter Beings.
Bitter Blossoms.
Bitter Blossom is a magic card. I've been playing a lot of Magic the Gathering.
Okay, I was like, Blossom Beings?
Seven Bitter Beings, but like the which that riff fucks.
It does. That riff does fuck.
Then it just turns into an Alice in Chains B-side.
Yeah, I thought
I heard Alice in Chains B-side.
Okay, I heard a little more like nu metal.
Alice in Chains is the most nu metal of the grunge bands.
Yeah, maybe.
Which is a weird thing to say. I think that is a brand new sentence.
I don't think that's ever been said before.
But you've heard it here, folks. Put it on my tombstone. Alice in Chains is the nu metal of grunge.
I mean, they were probably the most metal. I mean, besides maybe Soundgarden. But
yeah.
I also know the least Soundgarden out of the big four, quote unquote. I don't think that's an official thing, but in my mind, Nirvana.
There is a big four of grunge, and it's Nirvana,
Pearl
Alice
Jam,
in Chains, Pearl Jam, and
Soundgarden.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of those four, I know the least by Soundgarden, but what I've heard, they seem like the most metal, besides like them and Alice in Chains. But
yeah, well, Alice in Chains is more like prog.
I don't know how to describe them.
Because, I don't know, Alice in Chains, very talented band. Rest in peace, Lane Staley. Staley, whatever the fuck his name is. Rest in peace, my guy.
You're gonna get us canceled. People are gonna be like, what the fuck is...
I'm not good with names. That is why I can only name the members of, like, 5 bands.
Austin called Alice in Chains nu metal and then said Lane Staley.
Lane Steely Dan.
My favorite band, Staley Dan.
Oh my god. But the solo in Stealing from a Thief rips pretty hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also at about a minute left. Oh yeah, that's funny. Also, I said the solo on this one is hands down the best on the album, in my opinion.
It's so good.
But
it had to be Dimebag.
Yeah, honestly, it probably was. But then also, this kind of does a weird thing that, what was it? Toast to the Extras did, where it just had like a random little extra song part at the end, like about a minute left on the runtime of Stealing for a Thief. It stops for like a second, and then it just picks up with like this super cool, fast-paced thrash riff with some like really good drumming. Like it's kind of this whole like the drum beat and the guitars kind of are hitting on the offbeat, of each other. So it's like this really cool, like kind of technical thrash feeling riff. And at first I thought it was going to be an entirely new song, and I was like, oh shit, this song sounds like it's going to go fucking hard, but no, it just
doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it just is the last minute of the song closes out with that, and it doesn't do anything else. Like,
Scott Ian, if you're listening, and I know you are, why?
Yeah, I was like, this could have easily been probably the best song on the album if, like, just from the 1 minute we got of that riff, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, it could have been an incredible album closer.
Yeah, and then it stopped, and I looked up, and it was at the last song, and I was like, what? And I went back, and I was like, okay, you just forced this in on the last minute of the album, which in retrospect makes a little more sense after I researched the album, because the last track, Pieces, was actually a hidden track.
Oh.
But on Spotify it shows up as its own
they don't
track.
have hidden tracks on Spotify, really.
I mean, usually it'll just play, like, in the song that it was hidden from.
Yeah, but in a lot of them, it's also just its own track on Spotify.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, now that you say it, I don't know. But, yeah, without the pretext of it, I just thought, which, I mean, it makes sense as an album closer because it's an acoustic song, which I feel like is a pretty popular way to close out an album that's not acoustic.
Yeah, this is Pieces, by the way. I don't know if we said that.
Yeah,
it's
Pieces.
a really weird album closer.
Yeah, I really don't like it. It's really corny and dull. Kind of gives me, like, Every Rose Has Its Thorn by Poison vibes.
It feels like it could have been written by Blind Melon, but, like, Blind Melon would have written a better song.
Yeah, I kind of could see that. But
Blind Melon, notably my favorite grunge band.
Yeah, Blind Melon was a good band. Rest in peace, Shannon Hoon, I think is his name.
I almost said Shannon Daly.
Shannon Daly. No relation to Carson. But yeah, I really don't like it. It doesn't work at all. And I feel a little bad not liking it as much as I do, because this was done by, I think, Frank Bello does the vocals on this song. And it is about his brother, I think, that got shot outside of his apartment and killed in, like, the early 90s, and they never found the perpetrator. Like, it's an unsolved mystery. And I was like, damn, I feel bad, because as soon as I heard it, I was like, this fucking sucks.
I feel bad because it's not a good song.
It's not a good song. And it also makes sense that it's not, what's-his-face singing it? John Bush.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this does not sound like him, but also he hasn't really gone for this vibe yet, so I was like, it could have been. But
yeah, it's just another, like, acoustic grunge song.
Yeah, just not really good at all.
Not.
But I mean, honestly, it's kind of like a glam power ballad in a way as well.
Yeah.
Like, it really reminds me of Every Rose Has Its Thorn.
It's like 1,000 Candles in the Wind.
Yeah, just not that good. I don't know. But like I was saying, like, that being a hidden track makes more sense. That Stealing from a Thief ended with that weird thing, because I guess they were trying to be like, oh, we'll go off the album with a bang, like a very heavy, crazy riff to close out the album with.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, because going from that straight, because I'm sure it also had, on the CD, it probably had a good chunk of silence between that ending and the beginning, but going straight from that riff to a fucking acoustic song, I was like, what? Why would you do that?
It's really weird. Let's bring back hidden tracks.
Yeah, bring them back. I think we also said that for K-Fed.
I think so too, yeah.
he had a hidden track.
I think hidden tracks were when we as a society were the most in tune. But now the only thing I have to wait for after the art is done is Marvel movies. And I can just look those up on YouTube.
Yeah. And then now we have fucking artists putting out like 28 song fucking double albums every 6 months. And I'm like, please stop.
Please stop. I cannot listen to all this music. I have a podcast to do.
That's just why I don't listen to a lot of, like, I mean, I listen to newer rap, but I don't listen to a lot of newer, like, pop and like mainstream rap, like shit like Drake and stuff like that. Because it's like, goddamn, they're putting out like 30 song albums like literally every like 6 months.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how the fuck do you expect me to listen to this and even remember a single song? It's like it's all gonna run together. It's just like,
yeah, like it feels like we're going back to the 60s where an album was just like 15 songs that you threw at a dartboard and you're like, one of them's gonna stick.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's just giving like you put out 3 singles and then put those 3 singles on the album and all those are gonna be all over the radio, and you're just like, just put whatever the fuck else I recorded on the rest of the album.
Yeah, like, albums that are cohesive have kind of died recently.
Yeah.
And, like, yes, this is an old head-ass take for me to have, but I like it much better when an album is a cohesive unit that works together and means something.
Yeah, I mean, shit like that's still out there. Like, even in rap, like Denzel Curry
but
is a great example.
It's not something you find in the mainstream anymore. It used to be, like, especially in, like, the
even in the mainstream.
2000s, it was in the mainstream. Like, albums were meant to be listened to as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, the problem's not albums being long, it's being long and filler. Cohesive. Yeah, because it's like even like fucking this just came first in my mind, like the Eminem show by Eminem. It's like a fucking hour-long album. It has like 17 or 18 songs, but every song is pivotal to the album.
Yeah, every song is important.
Yeah, which Eminem doesn't even do that anymore. Like old Kanye, like those albums, or at least like College Dropout and Late Registration were very long albums. Yeah. But
what we're saying is bring back skits.
Yeah, bring back skits. But yeah, or even like a recent example, Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler, the Creator. Like, it's a long album. I think it's like 19 songs, but like every song is good. Like none of it feels like filler.
And the songs are obviously meant to be listened to in that specific order.
Yeah, so it's like just do that. Like it's not. I mean, it is an old head take, but at the same time, it's like either learn how to have some quality control or just split it up in 2 albums and wait like a year and a half, 2 years to release them. It's
like you could just. You're let's say you're Drake. You're fucking famous.
Yeah.
You have to release an album because of contractual reasons.
Yeah.
Record 2 15-minute albums in like 30 days. Just fucking sit on it.
Yeah.
You don't have to fucking, like, fuck you. Just fucking sit on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Release it as 2 different 15-track albums.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I haven't listened to Drake since, if you're reading this, it's too late because it's just quantity over quality.
I stopped listening to Drake because of the whole ghostwriter shit.
Ghostwriter shit.
Yeah, Drake doesn't write like most of his music.
Oh,
I've heard. This is what I've heard. I'm not saying this is fact.
No, I've heard that. I'm a fucking idiot. You said ghostwriter or writer,
and I thought it was ghostwriter.
Yeah, and I was like, what?
Yeah,
like,
him and Nicolas Cage.
They have fucking beef. Oh man.
But I'm not saying it is fact. This is not a fact. This is something I have heard.
That's why him and Pusha T had that beef because Pusha T called him out for having ghostwriters.
So did Kendrick.
Yeah. But yeah, either way, that's kind of a besides the point rant, but I guess kind of makes sense because this album is also very long for no reason.
This album is another one that fits in that same vein. If you want, this is a completely off topic, but if you want an album, if you want a band that only releases albums that are cohesive units, Coheed and Cambria. Not only are their albums cohesive units, their discography is mostly a single cohesive unit that tells one fucking story.
Yeah. Yeah, I still haven't listened to much Coheed. I need to. What?
You need to.
I thought you said I need you to.
I need you to.
You need me to.
I will murder you if you don't.
Oh, damn. Well, I mean, what have I got to lose?
You won't be able to listen to K-Fed's next album that's coming out in 2024.
Oh, fuck, no.
If you didn't know it, we were actually working with K-Fed to crowdfund an album.
What if? That would be amazing.
That is, if this podcast takes off, you can bet I'm going to fucking reach out to K-Fed and get an album together.
That would be fucking amazing. That would
be great. I'm going
to
to get K-Fed and the fucking alien rap guy's son.
Yeah.
We're going to put together a super group.
The remaining members of the Shags.
Billy Joel. He might be a little bit outside the fucking roundhouse here. He might be a little too big.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe the other guy from that album.
Yeah, whatever his name was, the drummer.
Yeah, we're gonna put together.
We're gonna resurrect Lou Reed.
We're gonna resurrect Lou Reed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna put together a super group. Called One Last Breath.
Yeah. There we go.
It's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah.
So share this with all your friends so that can become a reality. What are your favorite songs in the album?
I got Catharsis and Inside Out are the only 2 songs on this album that I would ever go out of my way to listen to again. I actually really enjoy both of those. And then a third one, just because I wanted to give at least 3, is Alpha Male. But even then, it's just a slight step above the other songs on the album for me. So
I think it's just Catharsis and Inside Out.
Okay.
I'm not even going to try to pick a third one.
What about your least favorite songs?
P&V, Toast to the Extras, and unfortunately Pieces.
Yeah. Mine are Toast to the Extras, Killing Box, and Pieces. Are my least three favorite.
Killing Box sounds like a shitty Batman cartoon.
A shitty Batman like the
the Killing Joke.
The Killing Joke, yeah.
Yeah, which is a good Batman story arc.
Yeah, have you seen the movie of it? Or is it a movie or a show? It was recent.
I believe there is an animated movie. I have HBO Max. I can watch all of this shit. I need to. I forget. Is Killing Joke the one? That's the one where Barbara Gordon gets paralyzed, right?
By Joker, yeah.
Yeah. What's the one?
I read the
not Damian Wayne. It's not Damian Wayne, and it's not. God, the fucking Robin that gets killed.
Oh.
That turns into Red X. It's not Damian Wayne. It's not Dick Grayson. It's the third one.
Yeah.
And it's not Barbara Gordon, who is also a Rob. The Batman lore is really weird.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit. I mean, comics in general.
But Batman's like there have been so many Robins.
Yeah. I mean, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, where they like had fans vote if they wanted who they wanted to kill off or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what that was called. I think it was called like the Long
Winter.
Something like that. I think it was like.
I think the Long Winter is a Mr. Freeze story arc.
I don't fucking.
We're not comic guys. I want to get into comics, but
I'm an entry level comic guy. Like I've read a decent amount, but also there's so much fucking out there.
Back when DC used to have the app that had all of their comics on it.
They don't have that anymore?
I don't think so. If they do, I want to get back in because I was reading all of the New 52 storylines.
Yeah, I've read a decent amount of that. The New 52 Suicide Squad's really good. And so is the one after that. It was another thing that was like kind of a semi-continuation rebranding of the New 52.
The New 52 was good enough that it had me reading Batman and Superman.
Yeah. I've never read Superman.
And people who know me know that I think Superman is the dumbest superhero.
I also do not like Superman. Too OP.
I think Superman has one good comic arc.
Doomsday, where he fucking dies.
It is the death and rise of Superman.
Yeah. That's all I've read of Superman. But I love Batman. Killing Joke's really fucking good.
I don't like Batman. I like everything else about the Batman universe.
Dark Knight, the Frank Miller one, overrated in my opinion. I thought it was very underwhelming. Yeah. Batman Year One, pretty good. That's another good one.
Yeah, I did read Batman Year One. Okay, well, that's enough about fucking comics. Sorry, this album is so boring. We're finding other things to talk about.
Comics are in tune with Anthrax. They wrote a lot about comics.
Anthrax. Yeah, it makes sense. So, anyways, those are our least favorite. Do you have any lyrics? I didn't get any. Except for Cup of Joe. Give me my fucking Cup of Joe. I need my fucking coffee.
Yeah, most of it was just there.
There are legally lyrics on this album.
There's legal lyrics and vocals, but that's about the extent. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't really think of anything else to do instead of lyrics. Or maybe we could do what? So now that we've covered the first four we got halfway through these thrash bands.
We've got halfway through the thrash bands. We've got one from each of the big four.
Do you have any predictions? Do you think any
Metallica is the worst?
Which one? Do you think Saint Anger is going to be worse than Lulu?
I don't. I think that Kirk Hammett could fucking kill my entire family
with his whammy
in front
bar.
of me with his whammy bar, and I would still be like, "Thank you for not releasing a second Lulu."
Okay. Yeah, I think Lulu is probably going to stay the worst. I think Diabolus and Musica is going to be my favorite. And
I think I like Super Collider more than Diabolus and Musica.
I think Super Collider and Diabolus and Musica are going to be my 1 and 2, but I think I like Diabolus and Musica a little better.
I think it's going to be hard to decide 1 and 2.
Then I think I am going to enjoy every one of the worst, quote unquote, that we've already covered more than the second worst besides Metallica. Yeah. I think I'm going to enjoy Super Collider Volume 8 and Diabolus and Musica more than those bands' second lowest rated albums. I already know for Megadeth that I like Super Collider infinitely more than their second lowest rated because I've heard it at Risk. I hate that album, sucks in my opinion. So I already know I'm gonna not like that. But then I don't know for Anthrax and Slayer, but I just kind of have a feeling I'm gonna like these more than
I
than that.
have a feeling that Anthrax is once again going to be boring.
I feel like it's probably going to be very close.
Just because I am not an Anthrax fan.
I feel like they're going to be like smack dab right in the middle, like both of the Anthrax albums for both of us. Like they're just going to kind of be there.
They're just going to kind of exist somewhere in limbo.
Yeah, and then the rest is going to be like, this sucks complete ass.
I know for a fact Metallica is going to be lowest rung because I don't even like their good stuff.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be a big toss up between Megadeth and Slayer.
Yeah, I feel like the top 4 might just be Megadeth and Slayer.
I think it'll be a big toss-up between Megadeth and Slayer.
Yeah.
I think we should give them points based on their ranking to decide which band is the best.
Which band is the best for the worst?
Yeah, which band is the best for their worst.
Okay.
Obviously, so like, start at 5 points in the middle and go up or down. Oh, so there's 8 albums.
Yeah.
So the middle one, like, their ranking is how many points they get. So number 1 gets 8 points, number 8 gets 4 points.
And then add the 2 together and see who has the high. Okay. Yeah.
So my prediction, Metallica gets a 3.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think it'll probably be from bottom to top, Metallica, Anthrax, Megadeth, Slayer is my prediction.
We're gonna have to see with Anthrax and Slayer.
Yeah.
Or not Anthrax, Megadeth and Slayer.
Yeah. Should be interesting though.
So what is the
we go in and we're like, Saint Anger's the fucking best.
Saint Anger's a good album, they give trash cans to the frogs.
Were you gonna ask the aggregate score?
What are the aggregate score?
It was 2.52.
2.52. Mm-hmm. So that's a 5.04 out of 10. Middle of the road.
Yeah, just right there in the middle.
I think it's a little low.
You think a little low?
I think ultimately I enjoyed listening to this album more than a middle of the road enjoyment.
Okay.
I don't think it's very low.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to give it a 6.12.
Okay. I probably will give it a 5.7.
Okay.
5.7.
Yeah, well, like it's very middle of the road.
Like 5.70.
Yeah. 5.70.
Yeah. Yeah. 70, same thing. I give 5.70, so like a little bit better than the aggregate, but
it's not much better than the aggregate.
Yeah.
But it is more enjoyable than not enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, you got 2 what I think are actually good songs, then you got some weird moments that can stand out a little bit, some goofy moments like Cup of Joe, but then the rest of it just kind of equals out to make it just a step above mid. So, yeah, not the worst thing ever.
Yeah. Does it deserve another breath?
I don't think so.
I don't think you should listen to this album.
Yeah, there's really no reason to. Like, even the good songs, I don't think are good enough to where I'm like, you need to listen to these. Like, they're just kind of above average hard rock songs.
Yeah, they're just good in the context of the album.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in a vacuum, they're good songs.
Yeah,
but if you take into account music, music exists.
Music exists. What? But yeah, and then even like the goofy and weird parts aren't like goofy or weird enough to be like you should listen to them. You know, you might get a good laugh. They're just kind of. Well, a little quirky, but not too much.
Yeah, it's like the hold-up sport humor.
Yeah, it's just, like, unless you're a huge Anthrax fan, or if you're a John Bush fan, maybe you love Armored Saint. I've never listened to them. I've heard the name before, didn't know that's why he was from until I was researching it. I think they're like a power metal band.
Okay.
Which...
vocally, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So... Yeah, unless you fit into any of those categories, or you're just like a fucking completionist like I am and want to listen to every album by all the big 4 members, then, yeah, I don't think it really deserves one last breath.
No, not at all. Well, we will see you next week with something hopefully a little more quirky.
Hopefully. See you next week.